Thus, it is always good for him to remain subservient instead of falsely trying to lord it over the property of the Supreme Lord. In the conditioned state, the living being is not satisfied even if he actually becomes the lord of all that he surveys, which he never becomes, and therefore he becomes a victim of all kinds of cheating, even with his nearest and most intimate relations. In such an unsatisfactory state of affairs, there is no harmony, even between fathers and sons or between husband and wife. But all these contending difficulties can be mitigated by one process, and that is a devotional service of the Lord. The world of hypocrisy can be checked only by counteraction through devotional service to the Lord and nothing else. Maharaj Yudhishthir, having observed the disparities conjectured and the disappearance of the Lord from the earth. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Indulekhamataji, for reading the text 4. We can read text 5. Mataji, can you take over as I try to call up Prabhuji and see what is happening? He has not joined. Usually he's even before time.
Okay, shall I continue then?
Yes, and if I'm just going to go and get my phone. If I don't come, kindly continue, please.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Text 5. Nimitani atyaristani kale tvanugate drinam lobhyadi adharma prakritim dristva vachanujam nripaha. Nimitani, causes, ati, very serious, aristani, bad omens, kala, in course of time, to, but, anugati, passing away, drinam, of humanity at large, lobhadi, such as greed, adharma, irreligious, prakritim, habits, dristva, having observed, uvacha, said, anujam, younger brother, nripa, the king. Translation: in course of time, it came to pass that people in general became accustomed to greed, anger, pride, etc. Maharaj Yudhishthira, observing all these omens, spoke to his younger brother. Purport: such a pious king as Maharaj Yudhishthira at once became perturbed when there were such inhuman symptoms as greed, anger, irreligiosity, and hypocrisy rampant in society. It appears from his statement that all these symptoms of degraded society were unknown to the people of the time, and it was astonishing for them to have experienced them with the advent of the Kali Yuga, or the age of quarrel. Hare Krishna. So, Mataji is not here, so I can tell a little bit about what happened before. So we know before that Lord Shri Krishna stayed in Dwarka for a long time, and after the battle was fought and won by the Pandavas, Lord Shri Krishna decided to go to Dwarka, to his own opulent city. And while he was getting ready to leave, we know that first Yudhishthira Maharaj pleaded, asking him not to go. But then he said he had been staying away for so long from his own family, from his own wives and children, so he needed to go. And then when he was in the chariot, then we know Uttara ran toward him, calling Pahi, Pahi Mahabhaho, saying that, oh Krishna, save me, save the embryo in my womb, because there is this hot iron rod who's trying to kill the embryo. And she also pleaded, oh Krishna, it's okay if I die, but please save this lost hair of the Pandava, because as we know, all the children of the Pandavas died. 5 sons of Draupadi were killed by Aswathama, and even Bhima, he had Ghatotkacha, and Ghatotkacha's son, whose name is Prabarik, he also was killed. He was killed by Krishna, actually, because Krishna didn't want him to participate in the war. And then so many of all the children none of the children were there. So then what happened is Uttara, who was a wife of Abhimanyu, and Abhimanyu was a son of Arjuna, with Subhadra. So she wanted to keep that heir apparent of the Pandu lineage. And then she ran to Lord Krishna. And then Lord Krishna, as we know, Lord Krishna went, Mataji, can I stop? Oh, the Prabhuji is here.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. No, let's continue because Prabhuji messaged me that he's on the road and he's not able to join in.
Okay.
So I think we'll be class today with you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, sorry, I haven't prepared anything. I will just
we can discuss.
I'm just telling what happens before. Yeah. Yes. So yes, what happened then? We know that Uttara ran toward Krishna and telling Krishna to save the embryo in her womb. And Krishna, as a he disguised, he was the size of a thumb, and then he got into the womb of Uttara to save Parishit Maharaj. And he had a mace in his hand, and he was encircling the mace like a fan, protecting Parishit Maharaj in the womb. And Parishit Maharaj have seen that beautiful figure of the Lord. And Parishit Maharaj also, he had the association of the Lord ever since he was in the womb of his mother. So after that, because you know this Brahmastra was a special weapon. If it targeted to someone, it will just destroy that particular person. It will not affect anyone else. Even Uttara was not being affected, except the child was being affected. So that was how powerful it was. And at that time, because nobody could stop that, Krishna could have, obviously, but they had to have another person who knows this mantra to counteract, so that another Brahmastra is released. And when it is released, then it brings back both. So like we know, when Aswathama killed the 5 sons of Draupadi, and he was running away, and Krishna and Arjuna followed him. Then he released one Brahmastra, and when he released that, it was going like the whole world was going to be annihilated. Then Arjuna looked at Krishna and asked Krishna, what is happening? This heat, we cannot bear it. Then Krishna said, this foolish Aswathama has released the Brahmastra, but he does not have the knowledge of how to retrieve it back, and it is going to destroy the whole universe, actually. So then Krishna, he advised Arjuna, he said, you release another Brahmastra, and then with a prayer, you reclaim both. So that's what Arjuna did. And here, Krishna himself, he became the size of a thumb, and he got into the womb of Uttara to save Parishit Maharaj. Now that when he has done that, and everybody was satisfied, he again got into his chariot to go. But then Kunti Maharani came, and then Kunti Maharani, she started praying. We have this beautiful Kunti Stuti, Namaste to Purusham Tadvam, and it's very beautiful one. It's a bit long, but yes. And then what happened is, now he went to Dwara. And when he was there, this is very long, we know as well, all this detail are given, where he went and how he reached and how he was received by his queens and all. But here we see that after some time, Parishit Maharaj was born, and Parishit Maharaj also grew up nicely by this 5 Pandavas, and he was a very fine young gentleman who was very, very well versed in the spiritual knowledge and in the archery and everything. And then Arjuna thought that, okay, we haven't heard about Krishna from a long time. And Yudhishthira Maharaj said, okay, why don't you go and check how is Krishna doing and what is his next course of action. So then he went, and then time passes, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and he didn't come. So what happened is, then here we see what is happening is Yudhishthira Maharaj is being worried because Yudhishthira Maharaj is seeing some bad omens in his kingdom, which never happened before. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj said, okay, why? What is all this happening? The Sri Jackal is crying, and there is the sky is red, and there is fire everywhere. There is no rain, and you know, the cows are not passing milk; they're passing like blood in the milk, and then it was evident that Kali was there, but since they were very righteous king, Kali dared not proliferate everywhere. Kali was like stationed in one place. So then when Arjuna didn't come, Yudhishthira Maharaj got worried, and he was talking to his younger brother Bhimsen. He was telling Bhimsen, Mataji, can I finish reading this the purport, the translation and purport of text 5, and then I can continue? Okay, yes. So I did this one. Okay, this translations of the word to word is Nimitani, causes, Ati, very serious, Aristani, bad omens, Kala, in course of time, to birth, Anugate, passing away, Nrinam, of humanity at large, Lobhadi, such as greed, Adharma, irreligious, Prakritim, habits, Tristva, having observed, Uvacha said, Anujam, younger brother, Nripa, the king. Translation, in course of time, it came to pass that people in general became accustomed to greed, anger, pride, etc. Maharaj Yudhishthira, observing all his omens, spoke to his younger brother. And purport, such a pious king as Maharaj Yudhishthira at once became perturbed when there were such inhumane symptoms as greed, anger, irreligiosity, and hypocrisy rampant in society. It appears from the statement that all these symptoms of degraded society were unknown to the people of the time, and it was astonishing for them to have experienced them with the advent of Kali Yuga, or the age of quarrel. So yes, we see that. Can you give me 2 minutes, please? Okay.
Sure, Mataji. Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you for joining in today. Dinasharan Prabhuji is driving and is not able to join the call. So Indulekhamataji has kindly stepped in. We have read the Srimad, we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 1, Chapter 14, and the text for today is text 4 and 5. And we can use this as a discussion as well, as we have done when we don't have any mentors with us. Mataji has read the text and the purport of both text 4 and text 5. Are there any thoughts? Does anybody have anything to discuss? We read that Maharaj Yudhishthira is now seeing in his kingdom all these omens of insanity, inability, cheating, imperfection. Mothers and father is fighting between the son, and there's a lot of misunderstandings between mothers and sons, and fathers and sons as well, and husband and wife. And people are generally becoming more greedy. They are becoming angry, and they are full of pride. And this never happened before. So definitely there is a change in the temperament of people around Maharaj Yudhishthira. Any reflections, any stories?
Okay.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you for coming back. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes, so we see that King Yudhishthira, he was very disturbed, and he never saw such bad omens in his kingdom. So then he was talking to his younger brother, Bhimsen. So also we see that when Narad Muni visited King Yudhishthira, King Yudhishthira was lamenting for the departure of his uncles Dhritarashtra and Vidura and his aunt Gandhari. But because when they left at night, nobody knew. And then King Yudhishthira was lamenting. Then Narad Muni came. And Narad Muni said, why are you lamenting? And he said, you, the Pandavas, you are the eternal associate of Lord Krishna. And there is no need for the associate of Lord Krishna to stay longer in this material world when the Lord lives. But Narad Muni did not mention that the Lord had already left for his abode. And here we will see And King Yudhishthira is also remembering that when he asked his uncle Vidura, when Vidura returned from long pilgrimage, he was asking Vidura, and if he had met Lord Krishna during his pilgrimage, Vidura avoided that question. Vidura also, like Narad Muni, did not disclose that the departure of the Lord from this material world. So while King Yudhishthira was pondering on all these inauspicious things and the earth, what has happened, we will see that Arjuna will return from Dwarka, and King Yudhishthira will not be able to accept by seeing how dejected was Arjuna. And here we can see that, yes, King Yudhishthira, he knew by the sign of Kali, because he was in Mahabhagavata. He had the sense, he could know. And he knew that, yes, this our Lord has gone. But, when we know something has happened and we're kind of scared and we don't want to accept the true fact, so we want to hear it from a bona fide resource, like we want to hear it like from somebody who we can trust, right? So here we see that King Yudhishthira, even if he knew, he was asking Arjuna so many questions, but Arjuna would not talk. He asked about all the relatives in Dwarka. He asked about his journey. He was, did you eat? Did you drink? Did you sleep well? Did you refuse charity? Did you? So many questions, but Arjuna just kept quiet. And finally, the only way to make Arjuna talk was to ask Arjuna, has our well-wisher left us? Then Arjuna started to talk, and he cried a lot. That will come in the text of this. So far we see that even a great king like Yudhishthira, who never experienced any inauspicious things in his kingdom, now he's experienced all. So these are the qualities of Kali Yuga, as you just read. It is happening not in a kingdom; it is happening in every house nowadays. Believe it or not, accept it or not, deep down there is something going on in each of us in our house. So because before, in the Sat Yuga, the demons, they were living in different locales. They were not living on the same planet, different planets they were living. Then in Treta Yuga, they started living on the same planet. As we can see, Lord Ram went and killed so many of them, so they were on the same planet. And then in Dwarpa Yuga, started living in the same country, right? In Kali Yuga, they are living in the same body. In our body, there is both. There's a good and the bad, both. So the demon is inside. So what we should do, if we don't take shelter of the Harinam, if we don't take shelter of Lord Krishna, of this Krishna conscious movement, so we will be very, very degraded. As it is, degradation is continuously going on in this Kali Yuga, and it will be worse. The more we advance in it, the more it will. So we see when Parikshit Maharaj started, then the Pandava will leave. Parikshit Maharaj will start Parikshit Maharaj because he was very, very pious king. And Kali Yuga will be there, yes, but less prominent, because Kali Yuga will attack only those who are not pious, right? But when it is time for him to come, because Kali Yuga also has to do his course, because we have 4 yugas, Sat Yuga, Treta, Dwapara, and then we have Kali Yuga. So Kali Yuga has to do his course. We cannot stop him. But then what is happening, as we know in our Krishna conscious society, we say the 10,000 golden years. So these 10,000 golden years that Prabhupada has predicted, is these people will chant the Hare Mahamantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra all over the world. And it was predicted. Who said that? I think I think it's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself who said that my Senapati will come. That is, he already predicted that Srila Prabhupada will come and will spread this mission all over the world, in every town and in every village. People will, but we see it doesn't matter in the Western country or in the Eastern country, we see it like less. But then after 10,000 years, it will be lost. It will be lost if we can continue this movement, if you can spread this movement, you can preach, and that after 10,000 years, it will be lost. The 10,000 golden years will go, and we will go deeper and deeper into Kali Yuga. until people will be scared to even take the name of God. Then there will be only few brahmanas, not like real brahmanas, but they will hide in caves and they will just mumble the names of the Lord. And then Kalki will come. Because it will be, if anyone will chant like the Muslim were, the Muhammadan were doing when Chaitanya Prabhu was, when he came, they were breaking the mridangas, they were stopping the Sankirtan movement and all. That will come again. It will happen again, and then Kalki will come. So yes, so far these two texts is what it is saying. It is saying about how Yudhishthira Maharaj and Bhima was talking about what is happening, bad omen, and all these things. So anyone who would like to share their whatever they think or any realization, it would be nice, because I haven't prepared anything. I just and just whatever I could say, I said.
Thank you very much, Mataji, and sorry for ambushing you like that. We were just talking and...
No, it's okay.
Raj Kishori, Mataji, do you have anything to add? Mataji, I saw your video and had your darshan.
No, sorry, Mataji, I was in the middle of something, so I was just listening.
Oh,
sometimes I just listen.
Thank you for listening, Mataji, and joining us. We feel very encouraged when you join. Any other comments or questions? Shobha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Kirtika Mataji. I just wanted to ask Hare Krishna. My husband was once discussing with me, and he said, like this Kali Yuga symptoms, they look really frightening. And he said, there's no way you can, there is any solution for it. And he said, well, this is all cyclic, like, how the day arises and the night comes. And in the same way, this Satyuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Kali Yuga is cyclic, and there is nothing anybody can do about it. It's all created by God. And that's what he was asking me. So how do we sort of answer to that? There's nothing we can do about it. It's just created by maybe Krishna, that Kali Yuga comes as a cycle.
Yes, Mataji, it is a cycle. That's why, Parikshit Maharaj world. Otherwise, Parikshit Maharaj, who was saved in the womb by the Lord, when he was cursed by this young Brahmana boy, Shringi, he could have counter-cursed. Or he could have asked Krishna to save him. But no, he accepted it because the Kali Yuga has to do his course as well. And Kali Yuga is not that all bad. Badness is coming from the human beings here. But because we have this most powerful tool in the Kali Yuga. And then Parikshit Maharaj allowed him to come because he knew that there is something good also, not only bad. And why we are saying the good things? In the Satyuga, people were doing meditation because they were living 100,000 years. They were doing meditation, tapasya. Like Hiranyakashipu, he did such 6,000 years tapasya standing on one toe. Who can do that nowadays? He was a demon. Who can do it nowadays? Let alone that if we ask somebody to do tapasya for 6 hours, it will be too much for them. So at that time, people were doing meditation, the tapasya. Then when it came to Treta Yuga, there were yagna. Huge yagna were being performed. And at that time, everything was pure. The Brahmanas, they knew all the mantras, and they could not make a mistake while reciting the mantras, because that will have the effect, right? I don't know if I told a little story about this person who was a Kali Devi devotee in this class. I don't know if I told that. So anyway, so I will tell it later. And then so people, they were very clean. There was cleanliness there. Brahmanas were very pious and they knew all the mantras perfectly well. And also all the ingredients were pure. Like cows were not being fed on antibiotics like what is happening nowadays. Cows were giving pure milk, pure ghee, and everything was shuddha. even the chandan wood were available, everything. So yagna was prominent when Lord Ram was here in Treta Yuga. In Dwarpa Yuga, when Lord Krishna was there, they were doing opulent deity service whole day, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. But nowadays, what is happening? People are doing 8-10 hours job, 9 to 5 in the evening. So where do they have the time to do deity service? Yes, still is going on in temples. It's going on in some temples, but not everyone. Now in Kali Yuga, there is no cleanliness, there is no patience, there is no austerities, there is no, lots of things not there. Even our life is shortened to 100 years. Now, if people can say, how come people were living 100,000 years in Treta Yuga, 10,000 years, in Dwarpa Yuga, 1,000 years? How? Because for us, 100 years is a lot. Now, take this little example. If we can talk to an aunt and tell the aunt, you know, we human being, we live for 100 years. The aunt will laugh, will say, oh, my lifespan is 7 days, 10 days. How can you say 100 years? So similarly, we can imagine how much opulent they were and how they were doing nice services. But now in this yuga, as we don't have anything pure, no brahmanas with good, perfect knowledge, and no pure ingredient, ourselves, we are not that kind of chaste and pure. So the Lord says, okay, it's fine. I'll give you the Maha Mantra. This is the weapon to counteract the Kali. This is Maha Mantra. The Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That will take us away from this material world. And if we keep chanting Maha Mantra, we may not come back to this material world to suffer the birth, disease, old age, and death. This is the 4 bad qualities that everybody is going through. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this Maha Mantra, and we don't have to, it can be chanted anytime, any place, anywhere, in any state, right? Like we don't really need to go and sit like a yogi, secluded place, have a kusakras and mat and a deer skin, and then meditate and close our eyes. And so. No, we can do it in our house. We can do it while we are walking. We can do it in the park. But if we are serious, we have to control the mind, which is very, very difficult. The mind will frickle, bring it back and keep chanting. This is the thing that we have in Kali Yuga, which is the best. Nobody has to leave home to go in the forest to become, to take like vanaprastha or sannyasa. Staying at home, you do it. And by chanting, then it will be revealed to you that, yes, I can do some devotional service, I can have a deity at home, I can do more, and slowly we progress in our spiritual life. This is the, as we say, take the good out of the bad bargain. So the good is the Maha Mantra. So your husband was right, Mataji, and we cannot stop it. Even great king like Yudhishthira or Parikshit Maharaj could not stop it. Parikshit Maharaj, on the contrary, he just wanted to leave and go. It was a good opportunity for him. For him, it was a blessing in disguise. He took that opportunity. 7 days, he listened to the whole Bhagavatam, and he perfected his life. So we can take his example. We are not like him, yes. We can have the Bhagavatam like we are doing every day. Mataji here, she's hosting every day. Take that opportunity, join classes, chant the Maha Mantra, do little seva at home, purify ourselves. And that is a course that we have to follow in Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna, Mataji. I hope I give you a little bit of clearance in it.
Yes, yeah, thank you, Mataji. Yeah, it makes sense because, you know, it's like if we have a disease or something, then we do take some steps to reduce our suffering. So in the same way, I suppose Kali Yuga is unavoidable. So like you said, Maha Mantra is the, you know, we are so lucky that with just simply chanting Maha Mantra, we can, you know, help ourselves. So
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
I think when people ask us about Kali Yuga, okay, it is there, it's a cycle, and whatever you do, whether you chant or you eat meat or whatever you do, it will still be there, and it will still have its effects, and you will still lose money, and there'll be misunderstandings with your brothers and sisters, and etc. Because that is the nature of Kali Yuga. So I think and then after Kali Yuga, Satyug will come. So then why should we do all these austerities? Because we know after 10,000 years, there'll be Satyug and we'll be in Satyug. So we'll be closer to the Lord in Satyug. But I think the reason why we need to chant and perform austerities and do what our Guru Maharaj has told us is because then we come out of any yugas. Then there is no Satyug or Treta Yuga or any yugs for us, because then we enter into the spiritual world. Mataji, is my thinking correct? Indulekhamataji, is my thinking correct?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, you are correct to some extent, yes. But you know, if we come back in Treta Yuga, what will happen? We might not get this birth as a human being, right? We might not get the birth as a Brahmana. We might, because if you remember in Satyuga, also there were big demons, right? When Lord Ram started, sorry, my garage door is making noise. Let me just mute myself. Okay, Hare Krishna. Yes, so we know there are 8.4 million species of life. So if we just keep going into that cycle of birth and death and coming back, going and coming back, we will never get released from this entanglement of material life. What we should do, we should try to get out of the circle. You know, it's a circle going round and round and round. So we should try to get out of it. And even if we come in any yugas, we are still in this material world. The yugas will come and go, and we are still here. So as you said, what we should do, we should try to get out of it. And getting out of it is the only method is chanting the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and then serving Guru and Gauranga. And at the end, Srila Prabhupada has promised. And actually, we should consider ourselves very lucky to be in this era where Krishna came 5,000 years ago, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years ago, and Srila Prabhupada came. And I wish you to again get such a good opportunity. Now we still have all these scriptures. We are still being able to, and Srila Prabhupada, he translated in so many languages, make it available to everyone, anywhere in the world. So you see, this is our luck, our good luck, and we should take that opportunity, right? Like one day, you know, Srila Prabhupada and some of the disciples were bathing in Yamuna River, and then Srila Prabhupada asked the disciple, what happens when you take bath in the Ganga? Then the disciple said, all our bad karmas are being eradicated. And then Srila Prabhupada said, what happens when you're bathing in the Yamuna? So they didn't know. They were just, don't know. And Srila Prabhupada said, now all your good karmas are being taken away. And they got shocked. And they said, this was done. Srila Prabhupada, why? Why our good karmas? Then Srila Prabhupada explained that if you have good karma, you have to come back to repeat whatever good or bad. So why do you want to keep the good? Bad is gone, give the good also, so you don't come back. So what we should do, if we take unto the Harinam Sankirtan, we don't want either good or bad. Another thing is, we should always remember one thing, Krishna's willing also. Krishna's wishes are there. Like the Pandavas, they were eternal associates of the Lord. When they come, see how much they suffered. See how much they suffered. Even Krishna was with them. They are related to Krishna. They were cousins of Krishna. Kunti was the Bhuva, the auntie. Still, all of them suffered. But that is also, in a way, the mercy of the Lord. He is using them to teach us. Suffering will come. That Mata, I'm a great sage. I am Kadamakanana Swami. Just we witness all of us. He's a very pure, elevated devotee. He suffered. So that doesn't mean that, oh, I'm following Krishna consciousness, I should not be in any trouble, I should not get any disease, I should not be having a headache, whatever. No, it is there. It is also our karma. So all we have to think is, yes, Krishna is according to your wishes, according to your desire. Even if I have to go to hell, please give me the opportunity to continuously remember you and continuously serving you. That should be our mood. Hare Krishna. Can you other participant please unmute and say something or question or anything, any realization or anything?
Thank you.
It must be an interactive, interactive session. It's very good.
Thank you very much, Mataji, for that clarification. So this is because we want to end our suffering and birth, death, disease, and old age. So there is suffering in all these phases. So that's why this is very important. Any other questions or comments? I think everybody has been relaxing because of Easter holidays. It's Easter here in Kenya, and we've had holidays since Friday, and we have another holiday tomorrow as well. So if there are no questions or comments, Mataji, did you want to clarify about Shiva? We were told on the other day.
Oh, yes.
That Shiva died. And
yes, Mataji. Yes, that Mataji, she said that Lord Shiva died, and then Sati jumped into that fire when his body was being burned, and then she became Sati. But actually, no, Lord Shiva never dies. He lives eternally. He never dies. Brahma dies, right? But Lord Shiva never dies. So what happened is when, if we see in Ramayana, before before starting, we see Lord Shiva is narrating Ramayana to Parvati. Lord Shiva is narrating Bhagavatam to Parvati when Shukadeva Goswami is coming down, and he was listening to Bhagavatam. So Lord Shiva is the biggest Vaishnava. Vaishvanam Yatha Sambhu, we know all this. So, but Lord Shiva was narrating, and what happened is Lord Shiva, he was narrating to Parvati what has happened. First, how it happened is, we know Parvati Guru is Narad Muni, right? And Narad Muni, he is a bit of an instigator. He will go and he will just, do something, and then he will leave. So he went to see Parvati. Parvati, how are you doing? Parvati said, all is good. And he said, Parvati, have you ever asked your husband why he has a skull of, a garland of skull around his neck? And Parvati said, no, I have never asked. He said, okay, you ask your husband. So, and then Narad Muni went, he left. The Lord Shiva came, and Parvati was asking, why do you wear this garland of skull around your neck? Then Lord Shiva said, anyone visited today? And she said, yes, my guru came. Oh, then Lord Shiva understood that, oh, Narad Muni had come. Anyway, and then he said, Parvati, those skulls are your skulls. Every time you die, because I love you so much, I take your skull, I make garland and put around my neck. So Parvati said, why do I die and you don't? Then Lord Shiva said, because I have listened to this Bhagavatam. That's why I don't die. So Parvati said, now you have to narrate the Bhagavatam to me too. So they started narrating. And one lifetime was, because we know Parvati has got Uma, Sati, Girja, Bhavani, Durga, all these many names she has got. So Lord Shiva was telling that when you came as Sati, I took you to Kumbhaj Rishi to listen to Ramayana. But when we reached there, first Kumbhaj Rishi fell at my feet and did arti for me and all, and you got suspicious. You said that, how come a sage do arti to my husband? How can he say we have come to listen to Katha? We should be doing that to him. Instead, he is doing. But Kumbhaj Rishi, he knew the qualities of Lord Shiva, how great Lord Shiva was. So he did whatever he had to do. So that was one thing. Second thing, during the Katha, she fell asleep. She did not hear complete Katha. Third thing, as soon as she woke up, she told Lord Shiva, let's go home. In the middle, so like 3/4 katha was being told, and Lord Shiva had heard it. So third aparad that she committed. Then while they were going home, Lord Shiva was thinking in his heart, I wish I could see my Lord. My Lord is Lord Ram. We know that Lord Ram, he prayed to Lord Ram, he meditated on Lord Ram. See, I wish I could. Then Lord Ram at the same time, he was looking for Mother Sita in the forest. He was asking the trees, have you seen Sita? Asking the animals, have you seen Sita? And he was crying. But Lord Shiva just paid his obeisances from far. He didn't want to go and disturb the pastime of Lord Ram. Then Sati asked, who are you bowing down to? And he said, my Lord, can't you see my Lord in the forest here? He's my Lord who we just heard the katha about. But Sati said, who? This man who's crying for his wife, is he God? Then Lord Shiva said, don't talk like that. Yes, he is my Lord. Now Sati said, no, I don't believe you. I want to test. Then Sati went. And Lord Shiva said, no, please don't do that. She said, no, I want to test. Okay, she went to test. So while she was going toward Lord Ram, she was thinking, how can I test? How can I test? Then she said, okay, this person is looking for his wife. Let me disguise and become Sita and go in front of him and see what he does. So she disguised and she went in front of Lord Ram. And as soon as she reached in front of Lord Ram with folded arms, hands, he said, welcome, Mata. What are you doing in this dense forest? Where is our Bholenath? Then she got so ashamed of her whatever she had done. She ran away. And then as she was running everywhere, she could see Ram, Sita, Lakshman everywhere. And then she got dizzy. She went and she sat near Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva said, did you do the pariksha? Did you take the test? And she said, no, I did not do it. I just believed what you said and I came back. So Lord Shiva said, no, you are not that holy. You have done something. So he just closed his eyes and meditated and he saw what has happened. So she told lies. That is a fourth mistake that she makes, fourth sins that she committed. Then Lord Shiva closed his eyes and saw what she has done. And Lord Shiva, in his mind, he just discarded Sati, saying that she has taken the form of my mother. Now, if I get a connection with her, it will be very sinful because she has taken the form of my mother. So in this way, Lord Shiva, he went into meditation for 86,000 years. He didn't come out of his samadhi. And then when he came out was when Daksha Prajapati, his father-in-law, who insulted him once, now he's doing a big yagna, but he has not invited Sati and Lord Shiva. He has invited all the demigods, and he has told the demigods to come via Kailash, so that Lord Shiva will know how opulent they are and where they are going. So now Sati, when Lord Shiva came out of his meditation, Sati, he called one of the demigods and asked where they're going so opulently like that. They said, don't you know your father is doing the yagna, so we are going there. So Sati wanted to go, and Lord Shiva said, no, we are not invited, we should not be going. Sati said, no, it's my father, I will go. She was very adamant. Then Lord Shiva said, okay, you want to go, but I'm not going. Then Lord Shiva thought that anyway, Sati has to leave her body now because I cannot live with her because she has transformed herself as my mother. She has to leave her body. If she leaves her body here or at his father's place, there is no difference. I let her go. And then Nandi accompanied, she went there, and there, when again, Daksha got very angry and why have you come? And when Sati saw that there's no seat reserved for her husband, there is no her share of the yagna and nothing, Sati got very angry. Then there was Bhrigu Muni there. Bhrigu Muni was laughing. Bhrigu Muni said, oh, yes, she said to her father, she will give everything that the father has given. Then Bhrigu Muni said, this body also your father gave. What are you going to do? Say, oh, so I'm going to self-immolate. There, with her anger, she created fire, and then she burnt herself. So when Lord Shiva knew about it, Lord Shiva got very angry. He got a bunch of hair out of his head and threw it on the ground, and that became Veerabhadra. Very, very, very scary demon-like, huge personality. Veerabhadra, he went in that arena, and he messed all the paraphernalia, and he damaged everything, and he cut Daksha's head. He put in the Havan Kund, in the Yagna Kund. Then they had to put a goat head with Daksha, because once it's burned, it's burned. So then Lord Brahma went and pacified Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva came and restored everything. Like Bhrigu Muni, they break all his teeth, and he got goat teeth, and they cut all his beard, he got goat beard. All these things happened. It all in Bhagavatam. So then Sati, she went from there. People say Sati, but Sati was her name, and that's how it happened in the yuga there. So that's what I wanted to clarify, because that Mataji, she was saying that yes, Sati, Lord Shiva died, and then Sati jumped into the fire. That's how she's called Sati. No, Lord Shiva never dies.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So any question or any comments here?
Thank you very much, Mataji, for taking us through this pastime. And now we stand corrected. Are there any questions or comments? If there are no questions or comments, maybe we can end today's session.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to purify myself a little bit. Thank you.
Mataji, for jumping to our rescue today. We really appreciate your time and your association, and you tell all these stories so nicely and immerse us. Like we are like these Kala Jamuns, and then you immerse us in the Shasni. So we become the nice sweet Gulab Jamuns. Your stories are like that. Very sweet. So let us all unmute and chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra once in glorification of Indulekhamataji.
No, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Hare Krishna.